Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Okay, so the first question was, how do you navigate in your relationship while being a musician slash singer? That was the first question.
Okay. So y'all want me to answer?
if you if
Yeah, if you
if
can answer.
if you
I
can
mean,
answer,
we talked about a lot of things. We talked about insecurity.
Yeah.
We talked about understanding the assignment.
Yes.
We talked about what else? Communication. Tony
Yeah.
mentioned communication. What else did we talk about? We already talked about that.
Okay. So first off, with that question, it starts off basically when you got into the relationship. We should have already had this conversation.
yeah.
It should have already been an understanding of the kingdom assignment comes first. So
Mhm.
you work with each other on that.
But I like that because I was doing this when you met me,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
right? I was doing this when you met me. So, you know, just
Mhm.
like they would have been doing something when you met them. So whatever it is you were doing,
Mhm.
like I'm not going to stop you from doing that thing.
Right.
But this
Right.
is what I do.
It's a hard pill to swallow sometimes because you want them to yourselves, but if you understand the work of the Lord, you have to humble yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be able to trust that person too. But if you can't trust that person, you should have known that too. Like you got discernment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
So
mean, yeah, I would piggyback on that. That speaks to not being unequally yoked, right?
yeah.
And that yes, they come to church, but do they serve? Do they
Right.
Yes.
understand? Like, a minister
That's
ain't
it.
gotta marry a minister, but are you do you understand what is going on?
I'm
And
still
Hmm.
and
hungry.
that's important because what we will do oftentimes early in the relationship is we will speed past the red flags.
That's
We will
good.
we will spend money on these elaborate weddings,
I want
Hmm.
them. I
and
already
all we
ate some
did along the way
bread, so I want
was
some more.
collect things that are going to lead to harder conversations down the road. Like, how do you really fit? Can you deal with this? Can you?
Yeah.
And if they can't, then we also have to understand
What?
that there is a
Shut up.
responsibility
That's not
on
how I said
us.
it.
There's a
Service.
responsibility.
I said it
There's a
was good.
there's a responsibility on us to
Steven.
really like create that intentional balance. And so what does that really mean? That if I'm going to ignore the red flags and understand where they're at, then I can't drag them.
Right. Right.
And what does that mean? That means that some of my ministerial yeses may have to turn into ministerial no's. Now this is for the married.
I
This
love
is
that.
because ministry in and of itself will become a mistress to anyone that touches ministry. It doesn't, you ain't got to be a musician. If you just love serving, and it's a hard conversation for that partner
Preach. Preach.
to for you to dedicate all of yourself. So the Bible says that when you get married, you forsake all others. So what happens is so many of us will create man, what's the best way to say this? We will create an affair with the
Ooh.
church, Christ's wife, and we will abandon ours and expect for her to understand,
Okay.
even if she is a part of ministry. And that's not when you get married, your single yeses have to now turn into some married no's, and
Yeah.
that's for both parties, right? So maybe the all of the touring that I was doing, maybe some of that's gonna have to balance out.
Mm, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord didn't call you to sacrifice your marriage. How he
Mhm.
gonna tell you to marry that person and then tell you to put the marriage on the altar at the same time?
Mhm.
Right? So it's really being able to say, like, and pride will sneak in. Let's talk. Because I was doing this when you found me. But when you found me, I was single and I belonged to myself. But now that I'm married, we belong to each other. So what are we going to agree? How can two walk together lest they agree? What are we going to commit to from a musician and that's your whole career. That's everything that you're doing with your life. How can two walk together lest we agree? It can no longer be this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, and we'll try to meet in the middle. No, what are we doing as a unit? What are we accomplishing as a unit? And when there's clarity on that keeps a lot of the foolishness out.
Well,
Okay, DJ, from a person who is engaged, you're not married yet. What do you think about this? Did you choose? Do you feel like, well, I don't want to get you in trouble. Do you feel like you chose the right person that understands what you do as far as your music and traveling and all of that?
Well, I totally agree with everything that's been said. Honestly, from my point of view, I feel like it's everything y'all said, and from my perspective, I think it's more of a you have to come. Like I said, it's more of a iffy situation for me because my fiance was she was brought up in church, so it
Okay,
was
so she
more of
knows.
she knows the ropes of ministry, but it's more she's bagging away from it. Not
Mhm,
more like bagging away from it, but it's more of she knew what the ropes of, and it's just like she was forced into it. But
mhm,
it's like when you're forced into it, you kind of pull away from it. So
mhm,
it's like all you know when you growing up was church, 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 church. So now
mhm,
with me, it's like I don't force her to go because I know how it was for her. So with me, I understand her perspective of it, and I understand my perspective. I do it
okay,
because I love it. I love God. I love the ministry. So I can't force somebody that don't want to do something.
okay,
She knows her prayer life. I know my prayer life. So we have that understanding. When she's ready to come to church, she comes to church. I don't force her. So
and I think that's very powerful because I think that despite what society thinks about marriage or relationships, you and that person have to develop your
yeah,
own idea of what it is. Develop um your own authentic relationship. Because if
okay,
you depend on society's um thought of what a marriage or relationship is, like
yeah. So you
yeah, but
saying, so you saying you can't take other people's bluept. You gotta create your own blueprint
you have
as
to create
far
your
as
own because you're two different people. You're two different people, and you want
okay,
to be authentic to what you do.
okay. Jabari, what you think about it? We talking about your relationships as far as you being a musician. How does that shape your relationship with your wife? Understanding that you have to go, understanding that you have to travel. And Brandon just got on. He a good example of a young person that's traveling and stuff. Young single person that's traveling. So I want his perspective too. I can't hear you, Jabari. You muted.